has vision to create students to have Islamic entrepreneur mindset and develop students into a successful business professional ready for future business work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. It was established on 1st June 1995. Now, I'm standing in front of Faculty of Economic and Business building, the highest building in town. So, let's have a look inside.
In the first floor, we have Baitul Mal Watanwil as Islamic financial institution and Indonesian Stock Exchange Sharia Investment Gallery. They can actively utilize a media to implement their knowledge and skill in Islamic banking and capital market. By prioritizing the convenience of facilities in every corner, we also commit to present the best service to our students. Our administration office provides service excellent to students with quick response and accurate service.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nela Bastufi, Dean of Faculty Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. Nowadays, the world is facing a difficult situation, uncertainty, and we are witnessing rapid change. This challenging time pushes us to study economics, understand more about decision-making under uncertainty, and crucially generate new ideas and ways of thinking about the issues. Most of our study programs are accredited unggul, called excellent in English term, which is the highest accreditation grade of higher education in Indonesia. We prepare graduates to competitive age and able to offer proper solutions that can be applied to society. Also, we mold our graduates to be ready to have career in company and involved in business world. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
UMP is not just a place for study inside the classroom, but this is just an amazing place to create best people in the world. This is also a unique place to explore the great challenges of our time. This is the beginning of your journey to discover who you are, to set a bigger goal, and fight for your dream. As our vision to be the faculty that are excellent, modern, and Islamic, as well as entrepreneurial spirit, we believe to encourage you to push for something greater here in the Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. So, will you stand up for the challenges in your journey?
It is now up to you to take the next step of learning journey. We are looking forward to meeting in Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. Sampai jumpa, see you, like Kermai. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. That's jumping my name. Grasping life is happy, but it's so insane. We must merely make a stop. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, Savannah, the beauty of Savannah. Let's all take a rest. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. No more as we stand. Let's go back to when tricks were sworn.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us give thanks to persons of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for bestowing His gift Wednesday, July 5, 2023. We can gather at the FEB UMP Islamic Entrepreneurship Summer Course 2023 in day 3.
Good morning, selamat pagi, Sugeng Enjang. A very warm greetings to each and every one of you. My name is Adi Pratama.
My name is Naili Karima, as a master of ceremony for this event.
The first agenda is opening. Let's open the programs at this time by saying Basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Thank you. I hope reading Basmalah will expedite today's programs.
Ladies and gentlemen, next section is speaker presentation and discussion by Associate Professor Dr. Awangku Hasanal Bahar bin Pangeran Bagul about people empowerment to economic prosperity and will be held by moderator Mr. Bima Sinintia Pratama, SE MSc AKCA. Time and place is yours.
For this, I will read this CV. The education 2020 until 2023 at Teknologi Mara University, Malaysia, PhD in Accounting. 2014 until 2016 at Gajah Mada University, Master of Science in Accounting. And the next 2013 until 2014 at the Jenderal Sudirman University, Accounting Profession Education. 2010 until 2014 at Jenderal Sudirman University, Bachelor of Economic Accounting.
Organizational experiences, Secretary of Department of Accounting, University of Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, External Division of Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia or PPI, University of Technology Mara, UETM, Malaysia, 2021 until 2022, Achievement, Gold Medal Award at Innovation Competition at International Innovation Sport Malaysia, EEAM 2022, Best Presenter at International Conference on Governance and Accountability, ECGA 2021, University of Technology Mara, Malaysia, Malaysia International Scholarship, MES Award.
For the next article publication, the first article, the title is Intellectual Capital and Social Performance of Islamic Bank in Indonesia and Malaysia, the Moderating Role of Sharia Supervisory Board's Asian Journal of Accounting and Governance, Vol. 18. For the next article, the title is Social Performance of Islamic Bank in Southeast Asia, is Intellectual Capital and Sharia Supervisory Board's Matters Quality Assess to Success, Vol. 13.
And then for the product, software application ECB, Islamic Bank Intellectual Capital Benchmark Calculator with copyright register at Directorate General of Intellectual Property, Ministry of Law and Human Rights of the Republic of Indonesia. And time and place are yours.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke, thank you Mbak Naili and Mas Adi. Oke, guys, please. Okay, may I have your attention, please? First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this session. My name is Bima, as introduced by Mas Adi and Mbak Naili. I am lecturer of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. In this special occasion, I will assist you as the moderator in this session. And here we have Associate Profesor Dr. Awangku Hasanal Bahar Pengiran Bagul as our speaker in this session. Dr. Awangku, I should call you Dr. Awangku or Dr. Hasan or
Dr. Hasanal.
Hasanal, okay. So Dr. Hasanal, yeah, he is the lecturer from University Malaysia Sabah, and he has an expertise in tourism management. And ada CV-nya? Okay, Dr. Hasanal is visiting professor to Tokushima University and also National Institute of Technology Fukushima College in Japan. Also, he is founding director for Eco Campus Management Center of University Malaysia Sabah and head of BAMP EAGA Unit for Tourism Development. He is also the founder and the current editor for both BIMP EAGA Journal for Sustainable Tourism Development and Journal for BIMP EAGA Regional Development. So I think he's very expert in this field, mostly I think in tourism management. So without any further ado, I would like to give Dr. Angku welcome. So how are you, Doctor?
I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're also fine here. Today we will be sharing the expert opinion about people empowerment to economic prosperity from Dr. Awangku Hasanal. Please, Dr. Hasanal, you can start your sharing your material.
All right, I'm hoping that you can see the slides now on full screen.
Yes, Doctor, thank you.
Okay, so shall I start now? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Bima, for introducing me to the audience, which is the summer school participants. Thank you for the MC for organizing this event very diligently, and also thank you to Anissa for managing my invitations and also keeping me on the schedule as well for these sessions. So I think I was invited here to share my experience on how one of my project, which is empowering people villages actually, that actually leads to economic prosperity. So before that, again, my name is Hassanal Bagul, and I come from Malaysia, and I'm very sure that you know Malaysia very well because it's just next door. So we are very well known for our diversity in our people, and also our wildlife and nature, and also our culture, which is mainly food, because I think Malaysians, we love to eat and everything. So these are again what people are attracted to Malaysia as well. But then Malaysia actually is is also quite diverse, and I come from the Borneo side of Malaysia, so which is Sabah. So this is where I'm from. This is my university now, University of Malaysia Sabah, and actually we are actually a coastal in the coastal city, and also the university is also in the coastal city as well. If you can see that there's a lot of greens, it is our conservation area. Before I forgot that, also UMS is also is a premier eco campus in Malaysia and also in this region too. We are ranked very high in the UI Green Matrix universities, and also because of that, sustainability is always in our agenda as well. So a lot of the things that we do, research, teaching, and development, and so on, is going to be on very much on a sustainability basis. So that is my university. I have been here for 27 years, and very, very hard for me to leave this university because my office is just next to the beach. So, and I enjoy looking at the beach. It's actually just in front of me now. So for Malaysia, I think when we talk about tourism, these are the main purpose of why people visit Malaysia as well. And the majority of our visitors are actually not the Westerners, but also the Asians. So mainly the Asians come here for holiday, visiting friends and relatives. This is one Nusantara, so everybody have their own relatives somewhere in the different countries. And also we are very well known for shopping as well. So the rest is not that significant, but a lot of people, they do come here for holiday. So this is something that we are kind of like proud of, and also it's actually quite an important industry for us. I think this is number 3 for the country, and number 2 for my state, which is in Borneo. And of course, I want to also explain to you about the domestic tourists, because these are, again, I'm going to hinge into my project as well. So now the domestic tourists is a bit different. Most of the domestic tourists, they are mainly cost conscious, because I think they want to maximize their shopping, and then so they will basically going to find the best deal for accommodation or for airfares and so on. And a big chunk of them also are doing visiting friends and relatives as well, BFR, and the rest will be holidays. So these are domestic visitors if they're going around Malaysia. So it's going to be on the shopping part. Okay, so the thing is, when you want to do tourism, any entrepreneurial activities for tourism, shopping would be something that you should be thinking seriously, because that's what the domestic tourists are going to be. For in my state, basically that, which is, you can see that there on the top part on my right, basically on Borneo part, that is Sabah. So the 70% of our visitors are from domestic market. So we do actually are relying on domestic tourists rather than on international tourists. Although the expenditure it would be higher, definitely. So definitely there must the products, and also the experience that we provide in tourism definitely will be catered towards domestic tourists, but also can be also easily adapted by the international tourists as well. So these are the this is what they are. So the thing is, if you can see that our tourist arrivals and also our receipts are in negative in terms of growth, and I think this is because of the COVID, and I think every countries have the same issues now. We are trying to get back to our normalcy pre-COVID era as well. In the pre-COVID era, we actually get about around 30 million, what do you call that? 30 million visitors. Now, compared to Indonesia, Indonesia has much more, definitely, because Indonesia is such a large country with a lot, more diverse entry points. So I'm talking about in the context of Malaysia, it's a small country. So I think the 30 millions are still kind of like, there's a room for growth, I think, but I think in my state, we're probably almost at that saturation level already. Okay. Oh, sorry. So that was just now, and it is not moving. Okay, it's moving now. All right. One of the things that about my state is, we are very much dependent on nature. Now, the first, I think, the most important industry in our state is agriculture. So this is nature dependent. And the second one would be tourism. So a lot of the initiative or a lot of the push from the government are going for ecotourism, simply because ecotourism has that component where they wanted to conserve the area and also try to manage the situation or the area to have a low negative impact. So that is actually what they want. Also, ecotourism as well, one of the things that they actually want to is to have that benefits to the local community. So these are the things that we always strive for in our state. So a lot of our, tourism are small and medium scale. So that's actually can easily manage promotion of conservation, managing the impacts, and also giving that benefits to the local community while giving a very good experience to the tourists. So, for example, like in Singapore or also in Malaysia as well, you have theme parks, in Sunway Lagoon, or also Hello Kitty World, Legoland, that is all in Malaysia. And also you have Universal Studio in Singapore. So we don't go for that ones because that one is basically are not very beneficial to our environment or to our assets in terms of tourism. So that's why we are always going for the small and medium size. And of course, there's a lot of push on the rural tourism in our state as well. So this comes to my project, which I am dealing with. I have been to a lot of projects on developing, or at least researching on developing areas of tourism around the state, which is quite fun to me. I get to go to all this remote area, rural area, and so on. But I think that as I approaching this age, that I would actually prefer just to be very near to the city. So you can see that there's a city over there, the city hall there, and then the village that we're talking about is actually in the suburban area. Still a village, very much surrounded by nature. And also it only takes about half an hour just to go from there to the village. So which is very accessible to me and also to my researchers and also to my students as well. So this for me is more on the way I choose that one, the village is actually more on the logistic part in the beginning, right? So one of the great thing about this village, Kampung Kobuni, Kampung means the village, is basically it's still, even though it is in the city limits, but it's actually surrounded by nature, and it has 5 minutes away from that, there's a cultural village. It's a purpose-built cultural village. It's what we call, people go there and experience culture here. We have more than 30 ethnic groups here, and of course, that is actually diverse enough for 8 destinations. And also, we have a waterfalls as well. The waterfalls are of good quality, so and very beautiful, very Instagrammable. So yeah, so basically, it has all this kind of like secondary attractions that can support the village. So when we started this project, in fact, this is very crucial if you want to do some kind of entrepreneurial activities, if you want to make sure that people actually getting what they get, they sign up for. If you want to ensure that the impacts are positive, there must be I would say the triple stakeholders. This is very, very important. A university cannot go to a village and just develop something, you know. So a lot of the universities are doing that mistakes, including ours as well. They set the university just to kind of like work with the local people, thinking that it's going to be okay, but it is not. So I believe that you have to have 3 components if you want to be a successful venture. One is the villages themselves. So they have to be organized. They have to have like this, work in one entity. The second one is the local authority. So in this case, because it's in the city's limit, so this is the, Kota Kinabalu City Hall. So because they are the one who do licensing, they are the one who's doing, development projects and so on. So you have to have them on board. And also there would be advocates like us, university or NGOs or social enterprises and so on. So they are the advocates for tourism. So, excuse me. So that's why I think in this kind of like what do you call that? In this venture, these 3 people, these 3 entity are very, very important to the success of these projects. So when we went in there, excuse me, when we went there, basically there's no tourism activities, right? So, and we had like this sit down. When we sit down with the villagers, it's actually not just once or twice. I think there's one point that we have a meeting almost every night, because this is after work, you know, you go there every night and try to kind of like teach them and how to do things and things like that, conceptualize and all those things. One of the things that we actually, very concerned of is actually the branding. When you talk about village like Kobuni, Kampung Kobuni or Kobuni village, every kampung has their own names. And so it doesn't really kind of like, make it a bit, outstanding for tourism. So what we do is we have to rebrand them, make it a bit more sexy. You know what I mean? So we rebrand them with the help or with the consent or with agreement of the villagers as a Desa Cinta Kobuni. I think this is same. It's the same translation in Indonesian as well. Desa means rural, Cinta means love, and Kobuni is the name of the village. So, and this actually really works because suddenly, you have all this buzz coming in and like, oh, there's like this one place that's, emerging and so on. So the branding was actually the first thing that we did. So, which is, I think it's a very good thing that, that we did also because it really attracts a lot of attention. Now, when you have the buzz, then all the other people wants to do project as well. So there's a lot of curiosity among a lot of people. So people suddenly goes there. So that's actually quite good. So another thing that I think if you want to do an entrepreneurial activities with them or with the local village, one of the things that I personally don't want to have is actually to go to a village, do a project there, and then the whole village harmony is compromised, and this has happened a lot. Again, when the university goes to a village and promise here and this and that and so on, and then have data, and they don't really help the local people. And, and they make the village even in the worst state before. And I think that's very sad. And then I don't want to have to be responsible for that kind of impacts. So I really actually have to kind of like look them in the eyes and, like, do you want this? So I think it's really important to have that agreement from the villagers, like, yes, we want it, we will be committed to it, and so on. This is like very, very important to me because, I mean, I live in this area. I mean, not in Kobuni, but, in the city. And, and I don't really want to kind of like destroy something, that is very near to me. So I said, okay, let's be clear and let's be open about it. Let's be honest about it. Do not be shy. What do you guys want? And the villagers, they said like, oh, we want economic prosperity. We want positive social economic impact. We want that we build something that we can be proud of. And also, we also can earn more money as well. So that's what they want. Talking about money is hard, especially for villages, because it's not something that they are comfortable talking about because, it's, they're very humble people, and so, but you have to make sure that, like, yeah, we want the money, you want the, the benefits. Once you have that kind of transparency, then I think it's okay. And for us in the university, I don't want to go there and just for free. I'm not charging the villagers for me to develop their program or their projects and so on. I'm doing it for free, but I am not doing it for like free. But I said like, well, if I go here, can I use your village as a living lab? So because as a living lab, it doesn't cost you a lot of money. My students can go there and do research, collect data. So don't charge them, just assist them and so on. So basically it will help me in my KPI as well on the publications, on the research projects, community building and so on. So that's what I want from them. And once I express my expectations, they said like, yeah, we can do that. So, okay, that's fine. And of course, the DBKK, the city hall, they were like, yeah, we have, I mean, this is our KPI. We have to develop, tourism products, and this is one of them. So because they are local authorities, so this is their job. So it's a different, so they know that they have to do it. And, and in a way to do it, like, okay, they have to do it. So they will allocate some budget for us. So this is something that, okay, they can help us with the venture too. And sorry, let me just go back there. This is actually like this a news. Actually, before we went into the village, they are already win an award as the cleanest village in the city. So what does it mean? Now the thing is, I've seen a lot of failed projects in the village. But if there's a village, if you want to do something like this, if that village has an award as a village, right? So meaning that they have kind of like a good cooperation among themselves. So this is already like an endorsement that they actually are doing well, or have a harmony in the village as well. So this is kind of like an indicator that they have a very good potential to be successful in the tourism venture. Okay, so awards and stuff like that is actually quite important. So we sit down with them as well, and one of the things that I told you before, 5 minutes away from them, there's like this cultural village. It's called Mari Mari Cultural Village. It's a man-made set up just for that experience. So now in tourism, we call that stage authenticity, meaning that it's authentic, but it's staged. We don't live like that. I mean, they have like this very beautiful clothes. We don't wear that every day. So it's a stage authenticity. So, and I said like, well, I don't want you to compete with that because you don't live like that. But I want you to go and, get the tourists just to go to your house and see what you do, see what you cook, see what you eat, see what you smoke or, something like that. And, just be normal. So this is another dimension of culture as well, rural tourism culture. So it's not staged, and it's real. And I think people are also interested in that too. So you have that stage authenticity in Mari Cultural Village, which we don't want to do, but we want to do that the real ones as well, which is easier to do as well. So as a university, we're good at teaching, or we assume that we're good at teaching. So we're doing capacity building for them. So we train them. We have like a workshop with them in the village, tourism product identification and the product mapping as well. And then how do you develop that product, like teach them how to do packaging and so on. And so that one is actually take quite a long time as well. I did get help from my PhD students as well. So to go here, and then of course, we always get help from the DBKK, the City Hall. And also we also get some support from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Arts. So that was fun for us to do so. Another one as well is actually to beautify the surroundings, just to make sure that everything is kind of like look great, and just fine tune the village. So the villages, and so this is my tourism students. So I brought them there. We tried to make sure that the river is actually have a lot of rocks. So we try to kind of like make sure that there are places that is actually safe for you guys to dip in and so on. So this is what they've been doing with the villages as well. One of the things that I noticed when we do this project is the willingness of the villages to get involved. And I always kind of like stress with them, like, okay, it's going to be a 50-50 thing. I am not going to bring some of my students to go there and we just do the whole thing, right? Okay, so what they do is, this is also an indication of successful project would be like, I brought 40 of my students. The City Hall provide them with t-shirts. I mean, students, when they get t-shirts, they kind of like get excited, they take photos, t-shirts, it's all the same and so on. Kind of like there's a camaraderie there. And also for the village as well, they actually have like this get together and they cook for the students for lunch. So that was really good, and using their own money, not using from our own money. Sometimes we can actually give them money for them to prepare food, but we don't do that. So they use their own money, cook lunch, or potluck, and give to the students. So you can see that like there's kind of like this commitment from each of the stakeholders. Everybody will kind of like contribute something. So this is actually quite a good indication for this kind of tourism development project and so on. And then also a lot of the capacity building we do actually in the village, so that they feel more much more comfortable. But then there are also things like we have to bring them to our lab. For example, that like in terms of food preparation, food and beverage preparation on operations. So we need to, you have to have a lab for that one to show them the proper ones and so on. So we have to bring them there. So again, they got certified for that one too. And then they come up after all those capacity building and all those meetings, so they come up with this package. All right, so now what you can do is you can go to the village. The package is only half a day. You can either go in the morning or you can go in the afternoon. Okay, this only costs you about 50 ringgit or 11 USD or 10 euro. You'll be welcomed by a dance. And the village is actually divided into 4. There's a block Matahari, Mawa, Terata, and Raya. If you can sense that, that's actually flowers. Okay, so they have traditional cooking demonstrations. Go to another block, they have a bead making, but you actually make your own bead. What do you call that? Bracelets with beads, and you can bring that for free. And then you have go to the Tratai, which is the testing with the sirih and betel nuts, with folklore storytelling. And of course, the last one is Bungaraya block, which is you have your lunch or dinner, whichever that you go to. So this basically is the package now. The profit margin is actually quite good, 1.3 profit margin. And just to ensure that the profit is actually equally distributed, now we have to establish a cooperative, Now, one of the things that I see again before this project is a lot of the village, they actually, the harmony of the village is disrupted because of money issue. Okay, and you know that money is always going to be something that's going to be a deterrent to harmonious relationship among villages. So what you do is make sure that the profit goes to one place in the cooperative. All of the members are all the villages. So any profit that goes there will be earned by dividends at the end of the year for everyone. So this is something that is actually very, very important. Otherwise, there will be a lot of issues, a lot of fights, a lot of unsatisfactory things, in the village, and which we don't want. Okay, so that is one thing. Right. So the impact from this, this impact, basically what we do is we don't actually go there and run for them. We teach them how to do it. That's why we have a lot of capacity for them. This is what we call empowerment. You give them skills to build that capacity. So once they've done all these things, so after a year, so we actually kind of like started to calculate to measure their impacts. So the impact that we have, one is the creation of new jobs. So the thing is, even the people that they probably started to have to become the local guides. I think about 15 of them are homestay operators now. And of course, they become micro entrepreneurs, like doing souvenirs, doing all this dried food stuff, that you can sell to the tourists and so on. And also the kids, also they can earn money as well by cultural performances. Actually, they started to earn in the beginning. It's about 100 ringgit minimum per month, which is like very secondary income. But I think the latest data that I get last year is 250 minimum, which is actually quite okay for a secondary income. And then of course, when we created the cooperative, then it's actually again created several jobs as well. So I think it's also basically teach them how to manage the distribution of income too. All right. One of the second thing is actually besides empowering the villages. Okay, sorry about that. Besides informing the villages, to empower them to do the, to run the cost of their tourism development. We also found that we somehow empower the women as well. So a lot of these tourism activities actually run by women. We didn't actually hypothesize that in the beginning, or we didn't actually expect this. It's just happened that way. All right. So they're the one who's basically are very friendly and things like that. These are the 3 Japanese colleagues that I have from Tokushima. And so I brought them there, and then they were like doing the betel nut testing and so on. The Japanese doesn't speak English. The women doesn't speak English or Japanese. They speak in their own language, but they are talking to each other. If I turn the sound on, it's very noisy actually. So that is actually quite interesting. I think it's just like the feeling there. It's this kind of like very special as well. So the women basically has become the main propeller of the tourism development in this village. So that was very it's very good. Sometimes nowadays, like more women there, they have like more roles in the village, like and in their committee and so on. And also they have their own income as well from the tourism too. So which is again, if you have low income, it's much more empowering. Right? And then of course, the village has been upgraded. It's kind of like a modern village, but it's the cleanest already, right? So now it's becoming more colorful, and they love the love sign. That's why it's called the Searching Takubuni. And they also love cats. There's a lot of, and I think every villages there, they kind of like always saving stray cats, in the city. So there's a lot of cats over there, and the cats are healthy, which is great. So there's a lot of more colors, more murals, more Instagrammable place things that you can do there as well. Now I give them a challenge as well to do organic farm, which they are a bit lazy because, and then it doesn't really work out at this moment. And then also I think because of that attention, they become more successful nowadays. I think the organization from outside Japanese, they wanted to do like the hydroelectric ones, but I think that one is a bit more business kind of thing. So that might not be something that we favor of. So we'll see how it goes. And then again, the last one is actually the media visibility. So this village actually has been very not successful. I mean, it is for me successful, but also very visible as well. We have a lot of people coming up to me and saying that, oh, can you do this to our village and so on? Can you come to our village and see what we can do and so on? And so what we do is actually we train the villagers as a trainer. So now they are training other village, to kind of like do to do whatever that they have done before. In fact, there's one person that I trained personally that she is now, in fact, even doing presentation in an international conference, and she doesn't really know how to speak English in the first place, but now she can do it. So which is, I don't know, I'm just so proud of that. So this is great because it is being represented somewhere good. So that's the thing. So at this moment, I think the collaboration between these three people, the three advocates as well, which is very important for me. And I think in all the projects that I've done before, there have to be these three: the local authority, the villages themselves, and also the advocates. They must be there. So what we have done is, I didn't really do a survey on their income, but I know they're earning something, minimum 250 per month. So I'm glad that this project actually has created new jobs, provide secondary income, empower the women, and also enhancing sustainability for the village too. And from a university point of view, I think my boss is happy that this is our living lab now. So whenever we go there, we can get data and we can interview people and so on, make our life a bit more easier as well. And when I present this everywhere in Malaysia, and the other universities also wants to go there too, because the research kind of has been set up already. So it's easier for that as well. And which is true because recently I've been to a village. I think this is when Anissa called me to say like, can you talk to summer school? And I was just like, oh, I'm in this remote village and so on. And I was just like, and these people don't have research culture in that village. So it's very difficult for us to kind of like penetrate to get data and to have that kind of like, cooperation with them. So in this village, they already have that research culture. They know what research is. So they can give you like cooperation. So that's why a lot of universities, they always try to go there and I said like, yeah, just go, just pay 50 ringgit, you know what I mean? And you can get all this package too. And also it has been a working model for the other villages as well. So remember that earlier that the City Hall has to do 2 products per year. So basically they're doing 2 villages per year. So we get this person, if you see from the photo on the on my right is basically there's a guy with a yellow green batik, and then there's a lady next to her. Now these two persons always going to train the other villages as well, so they are like the main driver for the village too. So they're helping now. I am actually just finishing one similar project in Darao, which is actually is quite near to the village. But Darao is a different story. Maybe another time. But yeah, I suppose that whatever that we have done to empower them to do the tourism development from nothing, from zero to something now, and has caused them to have a better or positive social and economic impacts. So I'm very proud of that. So I think this is it for my presentation today. I am very much welcome any questions if you have any to me. Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Hasanal. Things very insightful for us regarding the development of Desa Cinta Kota Buni, Kobuni. Okay.
Probably,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so before I invite the question from you guys, I would like to welcome first the participants from UMKT. UMKT is Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur ya. That's near to Sabah, I think. Okay, and also we have here from Malaysia also we have from MSU ya. Okay. In offline session. Okay. So any of you want to share opinion with Dr. Hasanal? Maybe we divide into two sessions. The first session with 3 participants and the second session also with 3 participants. Any of you guys, please raise your hand. Okay, yeah. Okay, what's your name? Yeah, you can.
Hello, Dr. Hasanal. I am Hamza.
Hello.
I'm Hamza from Pakistan. Your presentation on ecotourism was like awesome. And I don't really have a question regarding to ecotourism, but I think you are the perfect person to shed some light on medical tourism because I want to know more about it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Sorry, is it Azam from Pakistan? I am sorry if I get your name wrong. Anyway, on the medical tourism, we actually not very forefront yet in this region on the medical tourism. Firstly, because I think there's not a lot of push from the government. There's a sufficient push, but not spectacular. And second thing is actually one of the things that we have to compete with is China, because China is basically I don't know, it was one of the most advanced country in the world. A lot of our medical technologies actually also from China as well. So they are the one that producing the technology. So one of the things that on the medical tourism that I found, I am currently doing a research on medical tourism under MASA, that's Institute MASA, Depan, Malaysia. We found out that the adoption of the medical technology in Malaysia is still very low. One of them is actually because our doctors are mostly not keen on or not as fast in changing or updating with the technology, right? So there's a lot of lack of demand in the technology in the medical tourism. So that's why a lot of the hospital here, they are still trying to find their niche. You can go to Turkey, for example, for hair planting, and also you can go to Hungary for dentistry, and you can go for in Thailand for a makeover on your gender as well. So these are like, you know, something that already kind of like very niche, very specific already. Like, okay, if I want to do something, I can go to this country because they are well known for that one. In Malaysia, we don't have that, right? Because again, our adoption of technology is not that fast as we hope to. And the push for the medical tourism also is not that sufficient from the government. There are efforts, but they are not sufficient enough. One of these, being from Sabah and you know, being from Borneo as well, most of our clients are from Kalimantan actually. The problem with the Kalimantan is now is the air access. So we don't have air access among Borneo cities, you know, so we'll see how it goes. So I would not say that in 5 years' time, we're going to be a good medical tourism destination. I don't think so, but we will see in 10 years' time, maybe something will happen. I answer your questions.
Okay, thank you. Next. Yeah. Okay, please.
Assalamualaikum. I am Ayman from Yemen. My question for Mr. Hassanul is why you didn't go with big brands, world big brands like football clubs and make contracts with them. Like I think there is country in Africa do this contract. I think its name is Rwanda. So the other tourisms from outside, like from Europe or America, when they say the football club playing and the shirts on it written visit Rwanda or something like that, they will be attracted to visiting this place. Or like Jeddah when doing with Lionel Messi, and they make a contract with him to post some posts in Instagram, and he is in Jeddah. So they will attract them more and more. So do you do that, or maybe you are planning to do it in the future? I think it will be better for Malaysia and Indonesia in the future if it's possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insights. I think celebrity endorsement are very essential right now, especially on this, you know, on these decades, because everybody is really look up to influencers, no matter whether they are designated influencers or they are celebrity who influence things for people. Definitely, it's something that we should do. But this is what I'm going to tell you. What happened in the industry, because when I talked to Sabah Tourism Board, for example, and said like, okay, are you doing, you know, are you bringing all these influencers and things like that and so on? And they said, yes, they do, but there's a limitations on budget. So they cannot go for the top tier influencers, the one that actually charge, I don't know, maybe about 20,000 USD for one stories, for example. They only can do like a very, I don't know, middle tier or lower middle tier. I'm not very sure, but it is, again, not enough budget is allocated, you know, realistically to do the celebrity endorsement. On the football jersey and so on, definitely something that I would love to see, basically. I mean, again, in Malaysia, football is a craze. We don't really have, we only have one football club that matters, which is JDT. Even I don't think you know about that football club anyway. We are not very well known for football. Our country is very small. And, but then, you know, I suppose that only that JDT club, the way I see that, is the one that's actually very aware of how, you know, endorsement works. You know, they're really doing very well with merchandising, endorsement, marketing, and so on. This is only one club among all the clubs in Malaysia. Even in my state, we don't have a very nice club. So not very forward-thinking person that runs the club or the marketing person. So definitely something that we should learn from the Middle East, definitely. Yeah. I hope that answers your questions. I say that's one at the back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the lecture. I have a question. You have mentioned, okay, my name is Kewa and I'm from the Gambia. And this is my question. You have mentioned the progression the university made on the projects you took to develop the students for region at the same time, develop the village and the villagers in terms of ecotourism. So I would like to know what are the major challenges you faced and what are the actions taken by the university to remedy the situation?
All right. I think the major challenges for me is funding. But again, if you talk to any advocates for tourism, funding is always the the challenges as well. So let's just take that out, because I think you can run in a low budget, middle budget, or high budget, and depending on what your achievement at the end of the day. One of the things that for me personally that I think in the beginning there is a kind of like hesitation of the men in that village to allow the woman to kind of like what do you call that take more kind of like responsibilities in developing the tourism development for the village. So I can see that in the hesitations. I remember my first consultation with them is all the men are in front, sitting in front, and all the female are at the back. And I think this is again probably a very normal in a Muslim country. But then as things are progresses and things like that, I think naturally now the women are sitting in front and the men are sitting at the back. So I don't know how that happened, but I guess that once you take more responsibility, once you take more posts and things like that that involved with the well-being of your village, I think that people will like, okay, I will allow you guys just to run with it and go with it and so on. So at first I thought it's going to be a problem, but it is not. I think most of the problem that probably is also for me, it's sometimes I try to make sure that they know what is give and take, because I think, unfortunately, a lot of the rural populations, they have been spoiled with a lot of aids, with a lot of, free stuff or freebies from the government. So that kind of like receiving culture is very strong. So I really don't want that to have that to impact the what do you call that to impact that the project. So I make sure that every time we have done something, it has to be a 50-50 thing. We send something, you contribute something, that kind of thing. So that is kind of like a training as well. And sometimes I think that I'm very nervous sometimes because sometimes there's like this scrupulous tour operator as well. They want to take over the operation of the village. So they just kind of like, okay, I will build something there and then, I'll pay you guys here. And then, but let me just manage everything. And you just receive money, to your bank account and don't do nothing. This is actually kind of like very, if you are doing community-based tourism, this is the thing that you're not going to be can make you sleep not very well. So yeah, And that's, I think, one of the challenges is to make sure that they know who actually has the best interest for them as well. So that would be my answer to you. I hope I answered your questions.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hasanal. And then next we open second session. 3 of you are invited, please. Okay, you guys, that one and also that one.
I am actually at the presentations. Sorry, but go ahead with that.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdullah. I'm from Yemen. My question is actually related to the presentation you mentioned that every year you select 2 villages to send this kind of project. So what are the requirements to choose this village? Do you, for example, do you take in consideration the existing of basic infrastructure such as clean water, sewage system, this kind of stuff or not? Because like actually in my study at ATB in major urban and regional planning, actually we usually deal with kampung. Like if I'm not mistaken, kampung in Indonesia is also mean informal settlement. So what we do actually in this kind of area is like actually we provide basic infrastructure. So after that, once we're done, maybe like people like you related to tourism, maybe they can do this kind of stuff. So I want to ask about like the village, like that you work at the example, the case study that you show us. How is like how is what I mean, like how is the infrastructure, basic infrastructure in that area? And also when you choose 2 village every year, do you take in consideration the infrastructure or not? And what are the other requirements to choose village? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the questions. I think that's a good questions. One of the things that the KPI or the requirement for 2 villages per year is actually from the Kota Kinabalu City Hall. So they are the local authority. So that's their KPI. I'm a lecturer, so my KPI would be research and publication and so on. But I work closely with them, so I am always trying to help them to kind of like, okay, if you have like a village that you want me to work with, let me know and things like that. But I do actually have my own requirement as well. I don't just take any of the project that being offered to me. For example, after the Kobuni village, they have like this a village is called Kolon Sunan, which is actually it's near the water reserve, and which is it's about half an hour from Kobuni, still in the KK suburban area. So as a tourism academics, I'm very sure that you're familiar with the 5 A's, right? A being accommodation, amenities, accessibility, and so on. So these are the 5 things that we look into before we determine whether that area is feasible or not. So when I went there, one of the things that I noticed that the accessibility is not that great. So it takes just like another half an hour to go there in a logging road, or kind of like similar to logging road as well. And it is very much of what they call that, too difficult to go there. So and after I told the BKK or the city hall, said like, no, I don't think this this village is going to make it, or it's going to be perfect for tourism development, so I will pass up on this one, which is, I think is it's kind of like true, because I think after 5 years they are still struggling to get people to go there as well. So this is one of the things that I guess as a tourism person you would know. So yes, one, actually you look at the 5 A's and see whether it's still feasible or not. Another thing that's actually quite important in taking a project on this on this scale, it's they must want it, there must be an invitation by the villages for you to go there. It's not something that, oh, I go there and and this is my proposal for this village and so on. You cannot just go there and disrupt people's life. So they must have kind of like a discussion among themselves. Maybe tourism is good for us. Can we have a look? Can we have a see? Can we have a try? And approach you. So most of the time when people approach me, there's a first indication, which is, okay, this is good. So I go to that place and then again do the 5 A's, feasible or not. If it's not feasible, I will tell them it's not feasible. Most of the time that they don't really want to hear that because they really want something. But then as a person, if you if you can't predict if it's something that is not going to work, you have to be very honest with them as well. So that are the two things that actually, if you want to know what would be my my kind of like indicator whether this project or this village is feasible or not, is the 5 A's and also the kind of like the invitation from the villages. I hope that answer your questions.
You please next.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khalid. I'm from Bangladesh. So my question is about the this tourism itself. You named ecotourism. So what I feel it should be something related to maybe sustainable ecology or maybe sustainable nature. But some of the thing I noticed you were saying the villager are maybe not doing something in the stage. They're showing the real thing, what they eat daily, or maybe what kind of activity they do. But I didn't notice anything maybe in terms of sustainable nature or ecology. Can you maybe mention or highlight some of the things that has changed after this project in terms of the natural protection for the future? Thank you.
All right. When you talk about sustainability, it's actually much more than conservation of the area or conservation of your resources like electricity or water. It's much more than that. If you look at SDG as well, SDG is actually creating a sustainable society, empowerment as well. Empowerment is one of the sustainability too. So one of the things that I would say that this is the aspect of sustainability that we had in this village is one is actually the women's empowerment. That is one of the impact that we had from the project. And second is actually is to build a resilience community, which is under SDG 2. This is again to kind of like build the secondary income for them. So this is basically again this building on the sustainability as well. So yes, definitely these are the two things that actually is very intangible. It would be great if they have a tangible things in their village that shows that it's very sustainable, So that's why I was actually challenged them to do organic farming, so that because they are cooking for the tourists, right? And it would be great if I think at this moment it's like 40% of the ingredients are farm to table. I would like to increase that to more like 80% or 90% farm to table as well. But you know that if you are in the city, that you are not going to be very motivated to do like 100% farm to table, because it's so much easier to buy ingredients from shops. So those are the things that actually I've challenged them to do. So something is very tangible. So at this moment, the sustainability part would be the intangible in the village, and which is the empowerment and also the income, building resilience. The tangible part is not so visible as well. So maybe it's just green, or maybe it's just sold by nature. But I think that you and I know that it's not really a measurement of sustainability. I hope that answers your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hasanal. Next, the last question.
Hi, this is Sabah from Pakistan. So first off, I would like to say thank you for this amazing session. Like we learned like all about your journey and the project like you have done. It's so interesting, like getting to know that such an amazing journey in the one lecture. It is so amazing. So my question is basically, it's a very basic question. So you have been like working on this project. What are the main challenges and you feel the impact and the negative impact like you have faced during this journey? If you could like highlight one or two, that I would be happy to know. Thank you.
Well, one of the things that I think this village is the good ones, you know, that they don't present so much problem to me and also to other stakeholders as well. So I would say that the challenge was a bit minimal. The funny thing is, I'm dealing with all these parents, in the village, the women who have kids. They are the one who always support this project, but those are opposed of this project are their kids, especially if their kids are educated, and some of the kids actually even have a tourism degree, and they always keep saying all this, the bad thing that we're gonna do to them. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're gonna sell the village and so on. Actually, I didn't know it's a problem because the villagers, they kept this from me. But when we have a meeting and these things comes out, and I was like, that is actually crazy because I'm a university, I cannot own a village. I mean, I'm a lecturer, I'm not interested in that. And while your kids are saying these things, they are educated. So I don't know who is actually educated here. The parents who don't have a degree in tourism, or the kids that have a degree in tourism. So I think for me, that's actually baffled me. So and then because there's so much opposition from that, there's one time that even we have to split. We wanted to split the co-op because this one doesn't really function very well, and we need it to be functional so that the benefits can be spread. But because the original co-op actually has been taken over by the educated kids, and they just don't want to do things. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's different generations as maybe have that. Maybe that is actually one of the issues that I probably say of. But but the villagers actually kept that from me very well. I didn't really found out until a bit later. And when they solve the problem, then they will be like, yeah, this is the story, and so on. So that's very nice of them to do so. I think one of the things also, the challenges on my personal level is time. Because if you look at my KPI as a lecturer, I'm not sure whether you are lecturers or not from your own university and so on, or if you want to become one. Community services is only 5% of my marks of my my job, and also it doesn't really give you that incentive for you to work on that one. I'm very fortunate that I have a team that I can deal with. I can depend on, basically, like publications and research. I can actually delegate and so on. So I'm actually able to to allocate sufficient time for the village to for me to go there and to help them grow. So I think those are, I guess, these two. So I don't know whether that will help you in your future if you are also interested in doing this project, but I hope it will. So the problem will be from the village themselves, and also maybe it's also from your personal level too. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Snell, for answering also that question and also sharing your insight. Maybe you can give your closing statement or concluding remarks to conclude this session.
Oh, okay. I don't have really a concluding remark, but seeing that you guys are in a class with different nationalities, I'm really kind of like really into this kind of vibe, basically. So Anissa, I'm really sorry I didn't fly to Purwokerto for this one. I wish I have. So I would really love to sit down with you guys and talk, and also draw your experience as well. Different country have a different, so different country have a different way of, of approaching things in terms of, making economic prosperity for empowerment. So yeah, enjoy the summer course, and yeah, and use your diversity in the class as a strength for this course as well. So talk to each other and learn from each other. So, and again, Anissa, thank you so much on behalf of, UMS. We are very happy to be here and to share our experience as well. And Dr. Bima, thank you so much for moderating these sessions.
Thank you, Dr. Hasnal. Okay, guys, based on the discussion, maybe I can give you some summary. Well, based on the material presented by Dr. Hasnal, we can conclude that tourism management is in a village. This is Desa Cinta Kobuni, involves promoting the village as a tourist destination while preserving its cultural heritage. Also focus on sustainable practice that minimize environmental impact and collaborates with local residents and organization. Community engagement is so important, also empowering residents to participate in tourism-related activities. This collaboration between government agencies and also all of the stakeholders is also very crucial. The successful tourism management will benefit to community economically and also support the local business and MSME, and also maybe give some pride also to the residents of the Desa Kobuni itself. Well, I think that's all for this session. Again, I would like to say thanks to Dr. Hasnal for the insightful presentation and discussion, and also to all of the students for your active participation. Hopefully, this will be so beneficial for all of us. Okay. Thank you for your attention. Maybe wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I will give back the time to the MC.
Okay, thank you. Great job for moderator, and thank you for passing back this and that time to us, ladies and gentlemen. Now I will invite to all the participants to take a picture together. So please, ladies and gentlemen, to go in front and left position.
I'm sorry for the speaker. Please on cam your camera because we will take a picture together.
Okay, be prepared. Okay. Action 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time. Okay, nice. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, up to you.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hasanal, Prof.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is snack time. No, you can take your snack in front of this room, and after that, you can go back to this room at 5 after 10. Thank you.